All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. Hello, everyone. I'm Clay Jenkinson, and this is my friend Yorick, and I'm here to talk to you about my new one-man show about William Shakespeare. Shakespeare, the magic of the word. And as a public performer, I have this running nightmare. It's the most persistent nightmare of my life. I'm behind a curtain. I'm not quite certain where I am or what's about to happen. I can hear a large crowd out in a proscenium arch theater, the audience, and I know that the curtain is about to open. And then I look down and I see that I'm dressed in black. I have a rapier and a skull. And it dawns on me in this dream that I'm going to play Hamlet. And yet, as I realize that I'm going to be Hamlet, I also realize I haven't memorized my lines. Hamlet's part is the longest of any character in Shakespeare, and now I'm going to have to try to paraphrase Hamlet for 4 hours on a public stage. And when this happens, I invariably wake up in a cold sweat. I'm just clammy with sweat because it just completely flummoxes me and reduces me to kind of a gibbering mash of insecurity and anxiety. So I had this dream when I was 22 or 3 years old, and I still have it. I'm now in my 60s, and every 3 or 4 months, the dream starts, and now it's like watching a rerun of an old sitcom or something. About halfway through, I realize, oh, that's that dream. And so it's less awful now than it used to be, but it used to be one of the most significant psychological trippings up in my entire life. I grew up in the plains of North Dakota. I studied at the University of Minnesota and at Oxford University. I'm the host and the creator of the Thomas Jefferson Hour, and I portray a range of historical characters. But my original fascination was not history, but English literature, and I spent most of my time as an undergraduate and then a graduate student at Oxford studying the 17th century, and my particular fascination was Shakespeare. In fact, when I was a freshman in college at Vanderbilt University, I wanted to be a journalist. And my advisor said, well, we don't have journalism here. We don't teach trades. If you want to be a journalist, you should either go somewhere else or you need to get a liberal arts degree here. So with great reluctance and even frustration, I took a course in English drama because it was a prerequisite to being an English major. And the professor was a man named Bernard Gutenberg, who was absolutely the perfect freshman English professor, stern and pretentious. And about 3 weeks into the semester, he assigned Hamlet. Growing up in Western North Dakota, I had never read any Shakespeare, not once, not even Julius Caesar or Romeo and Juliet. I had never seen a production of Shakespeare. This was my first encounter with Shakespeare. It was like an out-of-body experience. I was overwhelmed with the sheer beauty of Shakespeare. That was the moment. And so Shakespeare plays a critical role in my life story because it's not only something that I gave a lot of my life's energy to and was once the center of my intellectual curiosity, but it was also the pivotal intellectual formation experience of my life. And now, in the last portion of my career, I get a chance to go back to this early love and to really explore Shakespeare from a different perspective. And so I'm doing a one-man program on Shakespeare. I don't portray Shakespeare. He's not one of my Chautauqua characters. I call the program Shakespeare, the magic of the word, because nobody brought more magic to the English language than William Shakespeare. It's recitation, it's wit, it's humor, anecdote, commentary, even a little commentary about our life and times. I explore some of the themes that Shakespeare is trying to get at, but mostly I want to show that he's accessible, available, unbelievably powerful if you give him a chance. There's a lot of humor in it. I try to bring Shakespeare into our own time with anecdotes from my own life. I try to tell funny stories about my own life with Shakespeare, with students, with my own travels and so on. But it's particularly about the sheer beauty of Shakespeare's comedies and romances and tragedies, with a sonnet or two thrown in. This program is for schools, for universities, for general audiences. It's for people who are lifelong lovers of English literature and people who have never opened a page of Shakespeare in their lives. It's meant for absolutely everybody. I want to do this program, Shakespeare, the Magic of the Word, all over the United States and beyond. The idea is to reinvigorate everyone's love of the humanities, particularly their interest in William Shakespeare. Shakespeare is the central part of the program, but the program is really about what the humanities are trying to explore and how language is a magical tool for exploring ideas that can't really be gotten to in any other way. I hope you'll enjoy this program. I certainly am enjoying it. It's a chance for me to return to my intellectual roots. I don't think I've ever had more fun than standing behind the curtain now and knowing when it opens this time, I'm actually prepared. Thanks for listening. I'm Clay Jenkinson. You can find out more about this program and how to book it at magicoftheword.com. As Shakespeare says, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. We'll see you there. Thanks for listening.